we need to bring oxygen to the body as fast as possible, as soon as we wake up. So I learned this from a neuroscientist. This is the first thing I do every morning as soon as I wake up is cat-cows with power breaths. And the reason you want to do the cat-cow pose like you do in yoga, where you arch your back on all fours and lift your back, your shoulders back, you want to send the cerebral spinal fluid through the spine, through the central nervous system. So it's igniting your brain, it's igniting your cells. And I always try to teach people, think of your body on a cellular level. Don't think about diet, exercise, sleep. Think about it on a cellular level. What would you need to do to ignite those cells? And the way we do that is water and oxygen is the very first thing. We want to start with oxygen. So 10 power breaths. I use a 1-4-2 ratio. So for me, that's inhale 5, hold 20, exhale 10. Inhale 5, hold 20, exhale 10. That's a 1-4-2 ratio. I don't recommend starting with that much. Start maybe with a 2-second inhale to get the 1-4-2 ratio a little bit easier for you while I'm doing the cat-cows. And that gets the cerebral spinal fluid going, gets the oxygen to the cells, because what happens is as you sleep, your cells denature, they shrivel up because they're dehydrated. They need oxygen to flow through the body. So when you wake up, the first thing you should be doing is getting oxygen and then water. So I'll immediately drink 20 ounces of water, flood the body to get the cells moving as fast as possible. Then I immediately go outside. And the reason I go outside is to get exposure of sunlight to my eyeballs. And the reason is because the eyeballs are the most vascular part of the human body. So that's where you're assimilating the vitamin D from the sunlight. So you don't look directly in it, obviously, but you want to expose it to that natural light. And it resets your circadian rhythm, which resets your chronotype. Your chronotype, by Dr. Daniel Pink's research, shows when do you most often exist with a circadian rhythm in the early morning, late morning, or evening. And he calls those a lark, a third bird, or a night owl. Lark are those people that wake up really early at break of dawn. Third bird is the majority of people. They wake up usually around 7 to 9 a.m. And then you have the night owls, of course. So each of these has a different peak, trough, and rebound. So there's 3 main periods throughout a 24-hour span of time. So your peak is your highest energy level. And you'll be able to identify this with your chronotype. And I share this on my website, which I'll share with your guests in a minute. But you want to find out, when is your peak? Is it a lark, early morning? Is it the normal morning, a little bit later? Or is it a night owl? So that peak is the highest energy level. Your trough is your lowest. Your rebound comes up, but not to the highest level of your peak. And so at each points of the day, you should be performing different tasks. So during your peak, you should be performing analytical, very important decisions. Things that involve numbers, metrics, very, very important decisions. Your trough is when you want to perform creative tasks, insight task, introspection. So you want to be doing some things that involve maybe more interaction as well with other human beings. So creative tasks. And then the rebound is when you want to do more trivial, mundane tasks, answering the emails, administrative work. So that's why it's important to get the sun exposure to the eyes as fast as possible, so you ignite that circadian rhythm and the chronotype. So breathing first with the power breaths and the cat-cow poses to send the cerebral spinal fluid, water, sunlight, and then meditation. I do transcendental meditation. I was trained on it. It was a required course for the Ivy Leagues in the 70s. My teacher was from Cornell, and it's 20 minutes twice a day, unguided. It was, Maharishi is the one who founded it. Jim Carrey uses it, Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah, a lot of famous, Jerry Seinfeld, Howard Stern. A lot of famous people. But I always recommend, if you're just starting out, explore Headspace, Calm, or if you like variety, Insight Timer. Some people get bored of, let's say, Andy Puddicombe's voice on Headspace, or they get bored of Calm's, nature sounds, for example. Insight Timer is meditation practitioners from around the world that offer different meditations, long, short, guided, unguided. And so that it's an opportunity for you to learn that. If you're ready for TM, Transcendental Meditation, then you can experience that. But then I do something called rebounding. This is the last part of the routine. Rebounding.
Sounds cool.
Are you familiar with it?
No, but go ahead.
Rebounding is what Tony Robbins does before he goes on every stage. It's a mini trampoline. And what it does is lymphosize the body, because when you're coming down, it's 2 times the force of gravity, which shocks the lymphatic system. And now what happens is something called autolysis. When you lymphosize your body on a regular basis with the rebounder, autolysis happens, where your cells cannibalize old, dead, and damaged cells and replaces them with brand new ones. So I do that on my rebounder. By the way, it's a mini trampoline. Instead of the metal springs, it uses bungee cables, like 100 bungee cables around it. And it's way more powerful than a typical trampoline that you think of. So I have one in my bedroom, and I rebound it, and it ignites the body. Your energy's flowing, your lymphatic system's shocked. So that's what I learned from a neuroscientist. These are the things that you should be focusing on to start your day. Because what do most people start with? And this, I'm going to poke some fun at Dan here, because I noticed coffee was one of the first things he does on his list. Coffee's a diuretic. So coffee dehydrates you. It's the last thing. Your cells are already denatured from the dehydration. So you're actually worsening the effects. Now, you should get the water and oxygen first, the sunlight, rebounding, then, and meditation. Then once you've done that, we can introduce a stimulant if you want.
Yeah, dude. So much to unpack here, and I'm so excited right now, because everything you just talked about in the last 5 minutes, I would say 90% minus the rebounding. I would say 90% of what you just talked about is everything I love and incorporate into my at least daily routine. I might not all be right in the morning, but where do I begin? First off, I had to look at my phone as you were talking about the Insight timer, because I was like, wait a minute, I think that's the one that I use for meditation. It is. So if you're looking to if you're looking to get into meditation, you can check out that Insight timer. I also practice TM. I haven't gone for training, which I know is like against the practice. Like, you're supposed to get trained and go through the actual like specific training of it. But I've kind of loosely practiced it for the last 5 years just on my own. And I know that's not the recommended way of doing it. You're supposed to go and get trained, because that's the proper way to do it. But I love TM. It's something that, for me, I've tried different types of meditation, but with TM, it was like the first time I really felt like I could connect with myself. And I know that sounds like super voodoo, like woo-woo and hippie, but it's incredible once you get into that pattern of it, like on a daily basis, and it gets better every time if you stick with it every day. I noticed after a month, once I hit that 30-day or even into the 60-day mark, and I was consistent about it, I was like, whoa, this is incredible stuff.